Welcome back to the channel, guys. Hey, today I'm going to go over, is it worth buying a cookie cutter for your line? Now, as you can tell, I've used this a lot. This thing right here is supposed to, this bend, let me get it, this bend right here is not supposed to be there. I've pounded on it that much over the course of time of using it. So is it worth getting one of these things? First thing to think of, if you use a lot of different type of traps, I mean, if you're using MB550s, if you're using Dukes, if you're using Bridgers, you know, Victors, if you have lots of different size traps, lots of different shapes and sizes, it's going to be hard for you to pick a cookie cutter that would work best for you, a bed cutter, if you will, on your line. I like, for my canine sets, I like to run the Bridger number 2 dogless. So I bought the cookie cutter for the number 2 square jaw, and it works perfect for me. A con to it is that it is heavy. You know, this thing I think cost me, I think 35 bucks, and it's got some weight. If you are a walking trapper, so if you put your traps on your back and you walk to your spots all the time, this might be something you wouldn't want, because it does have some weight to it. Cost of it's 35, maybe that's something, a reason why you wouldn't want it. Now, most people use quads, trucks, UTVs, things like that. So this, that little bit of extra weight doesn't mean anything. It's not going to bother them at all. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pound this in the ground, show you how a trap beds in it, and show you why I like it and why I dislike it. So stay tuned. Got your spot picked out for where you want to make your trap. You got to get your hammer, and I normally put my hand right in the center to start with, like this, and then I'll pound on these sides, and I'll work to the other side, and I'll kind of keep working it all over. And I'm trying to get this thing flush with the ground. Now, I'm in southwestern Pennsylvania, so we normally have clay, and since it's trapping season, it's normally wet or frozen. But once you get it down flush or a little bit below ground level, normally you could just wiggle it, pull it out, boom, there's all the dirt. Now, a pro, something I really like about this, it makes a perfect bed every single time. So as long as you don't have any rocks in there, this thing is going to be the perfect shape for whatever trap you're using if you buy the appropriate cookie cutter. They sell lots of different sizes. I bought mine off of F&T, so look into that. But so that's a pro. It always gives you a perfect bed. Another pro, if you use wax dirt like I do, you don't want to waste it. So when you go, and I always put wax dirt in the bottom of my hole, you don't have to use nearly as much. So let me get this trap set in there so you can see it. Okay, so I got my trap set, got my underall underneath of it. I pick up my trap. I always pound a hole down in the bottom of my set because I have a center swivel. That way I can lay my chain down in there, and then I go and I work my trap into its spot. That has a little bit of wobble right now, but I'm going to add dirt to it. So right now, right off the bat, I didn't have to dig out anymore. This trap is completely flat with the ground. Okay, I mean, it's actually a little bit below it, which is exactly what you want. So I get my wax dirt, and what I normally do is add dirt to the levers and push, and you can see it's still got wobble to it. And I'll start adding dirt to this lever and push. It's got a little wobble still, but it's starting to leave. I'll go like that. Now I like to use the wax dirt all around my jaw just a little bit, like that, before I do what I'm about to do next. So I like to make sure that this thing is going to be freeze proof, because right now we are having freeze thaw conditions. Once I get it to this point, I'll take my fist and I pound around, and I see some people go like this. That just, in my opinion, that doesn't show you if you have wobble. If you're pressing on both sides at the same time, you're never going to see if there's a wobble on the trap. But if you go around, with one hand, you can see now I got wobble over there when I pound on that side, so I'm going to fix that. Both sides, actually. So probably just a little bit more dirt on top of them levers, and I'll be good. Now I left my pan up high because I just wanted you guys to be able to see it nice. Still have a little bit of wobble. I'm going to try pounding it really hard. There we go. Losing it. I'll work on those jaws. And I used probably the least amount of wax dirt. Now normally I would have my pan set down and I'd already be working to get that in there, but I just wanted to show that I used a very minimal amount of wax dirt, and I have enough there to probably cover the trap. Might have to add another handful, but so Different pros and cons of this. You're going to save on the dirt that you're using, whether it's peat moss, you know, just dry dirt, whatever works in your area. Negatives though, if you're in really hard packed dry ground, it might not be perfect. I've seen some of those guys out west that dig, and it seems like just using a regular hammer is a good way to go. Plus they're normally doing step down dirt holes, things like that. I don't do as many of those just because of the soil type I have. So to keep in mind if you're going to buy one of these, do you run a lot of the same trap? How many traps are you putting out? Is it actually worth it? If you're only going to put out 5 traps a year, probably not worth it. But if you're putting out 50, 60, 70, you know, and beyond, maybe it's worth it. Are you walking to your sets or are you driving your sets? This is another thing to think about. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, comment what you do on your line. Thank you so much again for watching this channel. It's growing. I think we went over 350. So, you know, 500 next. That's going to be awesome. So thank you guys so much. God bless, tight chains, and I'll see y'all next time.